I should sing one of these days, right?
Sing what?
Song, what does you sing? Excuse you, what's that supposed to mean?
Okay, welcome to the Boom Bar. It's not a show about failed musicians or attempted failed musicians. It's actually a show
Excuse me, what do you mean by attempt? I've not even started and you're already calling me a failed musician.
Yes, you are. So
That's when I start winning Grammys, they will not say, more than more girl, yeah, and I know that girl.
Grammy called Granny.
I know that girl. But
it's the
here
grannies.
you are.
It's the grannies that she can win. Grannies.
Here you are.
Yes.
You are using me.
Here I am, and I'm talking about the Boom Bar. I'm welcoming you to the Boom Bar. This is about 57 minutes because we wasted 3 minutes talking about a career.
No, we did not.
Will probably never start
in
music.
It's life.
You have other assets, use them. Your brain is one. You're smart and sharp and intelligent. And I know you will not disgrace your generation by saying you want to sing like all the whack people that we joke about. So,
and it won't even be whack. And that's the funny thing. It should be Grammy.
On that note, after all the vituperations and all the distractions, I'd like to let you know that we are today talking, as we always do, we talk politics, we talk music, sports, entertainment, and everything in between. Everything in between is what we started with, talking about a dream that she had, which is one of those things when they say in your wildest dream. She had a wild dream. Her name is Toluko.
Excuse me,
Balogun.
It's not a wild dream.
And it was just
and my
a
name
dream.
is Ola Toluko.
And it stays a
very
dream.
Much.
So we're here, and of course, there's a whole lot of things that's happening in. Yes, I'm jealous of your failed career. Yes, I am. I am.
Because you see,
but can we just get back to work?
My son is
yes,
very,
I would like to get back to work.
My star is very bright.
Yes, your star is bright.
Yes,
your star is bright, whatever it is. But I'm sure nobody cares about your star here at the bar. What we care about are the things happening in Nigeria and around the world. And we're not going to waste time on your failed career and your failed music career. Like I said, I paid you a compliment. You have your brain, you're smart, you're intelligent, and I know you will not disgrace your family by trying to sing like some people who have. And your children will go up to say, Mommy didn't do that. Yeah, she did. Mommy, no, she did actually. She actually disgraced you guys, disgraced your future, disgraced future generations by trying to sing. Because leave singing for the singers, leave music for people who understand and know and love music. What you're good at is that you're a very good analyst, a very good presenter, newscaster, broadcaster, story writer, and other things that God has blessed you with. So can we leave the eulogies and the praises and just get to
this
business?
That you are hating does not change the fact that
everything I said shows 8. Can we just get to work now?
Does it show the fact that
this is 7 minutes gone. Can we get to work, please?
It doesn't change the fact that it's not 7 minutes gone.
You know what it is?
4 minutes gone.
It's obvious that you have nothing to say today.
It is 4 minutes.
And all of this is just you
masquerading.
masquerading.
For people that do not know, I wanted.
You can't do another intro. We've been 4 minutes in the program.
Let me just.
No, you can't.
You know what I wanted to see.
Dive right into it.
You see my life.
It's one of those days, guys.
People, see, this is all I say. This is how toxic
you dive right into it.
Anyway,
it is toxic. The world is watching.
For people that do not know, the Champions League quarterfinals happened yesterday. A part of it, half of it happened yesterday. Another is happening today. 2 matches happening today, and it was very interesting for people that did not watch it. The one that I actually sat down to watch, the tail end of it was the what's this thing called? The Chelsea Real Madrid game. And it was very interesting because we know that the first leg was a 3-0 and it was one would have thought that it would have been
first leg was 3-1.
Oh really?
That's why you ended with the aggregate.
Okay, so you would have thought that it would have been like a nice walkover.
One-way traffic for Madrid.
For Madrid, yeah. At home.
Because they actually won 3-1 in London.
In London, so it would have made like perfect sense, yeah. But here we were. First goal, second goal, third goal by Chelsea. I'm like, okay, it don't look like Chelsea is ready to let this one go. Fantastic. In fact, they scored 4 goals yesterday. 1 goal was disallowed. Maybe if that goal was not disallowed, maybe we would have been talking about something else right now.
Yeah. and that's the well, they would have had to score more though, because it's aggregate 5-3. no away goals.
No, the aggregate ended 5-4.
If they had scored more, then the game they wouldn't have won.
It was 5-5, and they had more away goals, so they would have.
They would not have won. There's no away goal rule
In Champions League.
There's no away goal.
There's no away goal rule
There's
in
no away
Champions
goal.
League.
There's no away goal.
So how was it in? Why did it work with?
That was FIFA. This is UEFA. The
Also,
World
away
Cup
goal
away goal. The
does
rules.
not work.
Every tournament has its own rules. Like in the Premier League, the other day we were on air. You were talking about somebody winning a one, but it doesn't exist in the league. The league is about points and goals. So you don't have away goals in the league
So
too.
they will still have had to. Okay, which is why they played extra time, like 30 minutes, 15 minutes each extra time. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying.
It ended 5-4.
It ended 5-4 aggregates. The game itself was 3-2 because Chelsea had scored their 3 goals, and for me, I would have thought that it would have just been a completely defensive game after getting 3 goals.
I didn't watch this game at all. So full time was 3-1-2. It was 3-1-3-1.
Yeah.
Which means they were even.
Yeah, we're even.
So Chelsea scored 3 and they were leading.
They were leading.
You know, like I didn't watch the game. So that means it was 4-4.
It ended 4-4 at the 19 minute
So they
mark.
were
Yeah, that was why
even.
they got into
Madrid had to score an extra goal.
And I remember last night, I'm like, the only thing in my mind was that somebody should not wake Benzema. Like, what? I won't say that I was rooting for Chelsea, but I was like, okay, they're actually the defending champions. Like, it's not a bad idea. And to be honest with you, Chelsea is playing fantastic football. Yeah. I felt that a lot of times yesterday, I even feel that a lot of people that had bet would have lost a lot of money.
A lot of people lose money.
Because I think most people had already written Chelsea off this game.
Yeah, so it's actually a Tuchel masterclass. The kudos goes to the Chelsea coach because
he still got a yellow card still.
yeah, it's understandable. I'm sure it was all over the place. It was passionate and driving the lads on. I didn't watch it, but I saw highlights and I tried to gauge, opinions on social media. And what I saw was people actually praising the performance of the Chelsea team.
Yes.
That look, these guys actually played well, and it looked like Madrid were about to lose completely. Like they
had more shots on target. They had
Chelsea
more
had
possession.
More shots.
It was.
So
yes.
shout out. I think they've done a good
for
job.
me, I felt that it was a very good comeback. Even if they didn't win, they didn't get to the semi-finals. It's Real Madrid we're talking about here, yeah? And for it to come back from a 3-1 to the extent that it got to a point where Real Madrid knew that if we don't do something fast, this game is gone. And if Benzema did not score the second goal, it would have been more difficult because at a point, the later part of it that I watched, at a point, the game did not. I think Chelsea lost a lot of chances.
It was a game that they could have won.
They could have won easily.
In Spain.
There were times where the ball did not leave the half
Madrid
of
half.
It did not.
You're right. There's one more
like
you box them into.
Do you understand? You would expect
that's literally boxing them into a corner.
You would expect that, okay, maybe they would have played more of a defensive game than an attack, but it looked like they were really hungry.
They went there to get goals because they knew they needed to get goals.
Yes, they needed to get the goals, but even after 3 goals, it was just a lot of.
So I saw the
last minute finishing
the
that
goal
didn't work.
that was cancelled by VAR, and to be honest, sentimentally, I would have wanted Chelsea to keep that goal. You get. It was a beautiful goal.
It was.
I saw the goal.
It was.
But the rules are the rules. As much as I think at times that VAR takes a lot of shine away from football, we're also one of the ones that were always clamoring for
that a
technology,
lot of things were
bring
not,
technology in. There was goal line technology, then they brought VAR. You get. It was actually handled. But in some instances, some clubs have gotten away with those kind of
Oh
goals.
yeah. Don't
You
let
know,
us mention.
I think it was a Barcelona player or someone that scored something similar. The ball actually
To
was
me,
it PK or
the
so?
number one
The ball touched his
person that
hand.
even goes with a lot of those things, Manchester City. Man City gets away with a lot of those things.
Yeah. So again, the away goal thing, just to like reaffirm and clarify, on the 24th of June last year, 2021, UEFA confirmed that the away goal rules could no longer be used in its club competitions from this season. So they just said that it was unfair that the away goal carried more weight than all of that. Because, for instance, if that's what FIFA had used for the World Cup qualifiers, the game in Accra, the game in Kumasi between Nigeria and Ghana ended in a draw.
Yeah.
The one in Abuja ended in a draw. They would have had to play extra time and maybe penalties.
Yeah.
Maybe if the game didn't end in extra time. So every tournament always comes with its own rules. That's why they always brief them every time you're going for a tournament. There's always this briefing that's done for the media and the participants and all of that, so that people understand the rules.
Understand what they're dealing with.
So
Yeah.
football doesn't have just one rule across board now.
Across board, yeah. Every
Association to
tournament.
association. Even for instance, you find that in some competition you're allowed to have 3 substitutions.
In some it's
5. It's 5. You know, they say, because of COVID and some other things. And I think that in England now they're about to make 5 the permanent standard for substitutions, and also the rules vary from
time to time. Yeah. So it was, for me, I think it was a fantastic football. I think that Chelsea should hold their head up high, no matter what. Of course, it made them not qualify. But if you take the game in itself, like holistically, I think it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game by Chelsea. Real Madrid did not do badly. All Chelsea did was that they just waited for Benzema to wake up.
Okay, but another game was played last night.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Another game was played, Bayern and Villareal. And as of between last night and this morning, everybody, in fact, even on social media, Unai Emery was trending. And it's very interesting because the game ended in a draw, but it's an aggregate of 2-1. It was a 1-0 win. The other one at home.
That's on the 6th of April.
Yeah.
Villareal won 1-0.
1-0. And Bayern Munich failed to win this game. It ended in a draw. And it's very interesting because with the coach, is for a lot of people, especially in the Premier League, he's one coach that has literally been written off.
Yeah, well, maybe because of the rough time he had at Arsenal.
That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't say he's been written off.
He was at a point, like, is horrible, is this, is that.
Only by Arsenal fans.
A lot of things where...
Do you know why I say that? If you go and check, he's always going to cup finals.
Oh yeah, even at Arsenal, he actually did.
The only people who wrote him off at any time, who had anything bad to say about him, were you and your co-travelers.
Boy, it wasn't wonderful then. Let's be honest, it was not.
So if you come with the writing of agenda, it's from the Arsenal perspective.
Okay. Anyway, we know that since he has moved to Villareal last year, they won the Europa, which gave them an automatic ticket.
Which is his forte.
Yeah.
He wins Europa like it's going out of fashion.
Going out of fashion, yeah. And which automatically got them a ticket into the Champions League. We don't know if they're going to get it. Of course, the game gets tougher, but the way it's looking, not even the way it's looking, they are in the semi-finals. I think for anybody to get to the semi-finals at all is not a small feat.
Yes,
I think that they're doing really well. That we're seeing, it's not even traces anymore. It's we're seeing a lot coming from Villareal. And before you beat Bayern, and you hold them hostage in their own home.
And the things that we need to highlight: one, Robert Lewandowski.
Lewandowski is in that team.
12th or so Champions League this season, 12th or 13th goal, at his age, Then Chukwueze.
That guy.
Chukwueze.
In fact, I saw a headline that guy personally.
Oh my god.
Personally made sure Bayern was not going to.
Oh yeah.
Like,
in the 88th minute now, Dolukbo, these guys are scored earlier than them.
And you see how
in the 88th minute, 2 minutes to the end of regulation time.
Real recognizes real when you see some things. Yeah, I like when people do same thing with I think it was the Chelsea game. It was a Chelsea game with Real Madrid that after the game, Benzema actually went to meet what's his name now? Reese. What's his last name? I can't remember. He actually asked him for his jersey. Yes, I don't know why he's not saying. He actually.
But I told you I didn't watch the game. So.
Oh yeah, he actually went to ask him for his jersey. Like, okay, that guy is good. Do you understand? I'm like, okay, so let's be honest. Oh no, and you know what just always hurts me is that for example, Chukwueze, like you see them do a lot of these things. You see a lot, and then they get to Nigeria, and then you're like.
Yeah, again, I get the sentiment.
What's happening?
I get the sentiment. People feel like that a lot. Paul Pogba, they tell you.
Yeah,
Paul Pogba that plays for France is different from
is Messi
that plays for Man United.
Like a Ronaldo when he are in France, and then he's like, don't let me mention this.
But guess what the problem is? For me, you go and look at why a player thrives for country and not for club and country. Mm-hmm. The problem is where he's not thriving. It's the club. In Chukwueze's case, it thrives for club, Abi. He hasn't really tried for country like you want him to. Not because he's not a good player. It's the country. It's the Super Eagles. It's not Osimhen that is the problem or Chukwueze. It is the entire setup of the Super Eagles, from the administrators and the way they manage the game. Because it's not just the 90 minutes that matters, it's everything surrounding it.
The whole thing.
So that's why everybody that feels the way you feel is right. It might be a sentimental feeling, but it's actually correct. Because factually, you have not really seen him the way you see him for club.
Yeah.
So it's not Chukwueze that is not turning up.
And there are a lot of them. I can't even start mentioning names. Like so many.
When Harry Maguire was booed by England fans, everybody stood up for him to say he hasn't made any mistakes playing for England. He hasn't done anything wrong. Go and check the stats. And the funny thing, his stats with England are amazing. But the people who boo him are the people who've seen what he's done with Man United. Like, I beg, this guy can't play. We don't want to see him. Do you understand? That's what they are saying. They don't want to see him. Oh, we don't want this guy. We don't want that guy. But why? He goes to another platform and he thrives. So you look at those kind of players, you check them out, and you say, man, these guys are amazing.
Yeah, you see a lot of them. I was in last
Can you compare the Mo Salah
there was a lot
of Liverpool to the Mo Salah of
Egypt? You see, I think it was Moses Simon last week that everybody was going on about.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so what happens to you people just translating this thing? Do you understand? But I get what you're saying, and I think it makes perfect sense. So, on that note, there is the last leg of the Champions League quarterfinals are going to be happening today. And the first game at 8 p.m. is Atletico Madrid and Manchester City. There's already a 1-0 aggregate in favor of Manchester City today.
And let me quickly say, it's not enough.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course, it's Atletico Madrid we're dealing with here.
They know how to play something that people have referred to as anti-football. They're not going to allow you play. They will stifle you. They will break up play. They will frustrate you. Then boom, catch you
unawares. Yeah. So we'll definitely see. Pep definitely has his work cut out for him today. Atletico Madrid too. Nobody wants to lose. So it's not so much of a hurdle that they need to climb over, which you don't know the kind of game that Manchester City is bringing. So you might say it might not be so difficult, and then you get there and it's a whole ball game completely. So we definitely will see that. Also at the same time, Liverpool and Benfica. Benfica is definitely coming to London for this game. And this, I think that Liverpool is in a better standing with a 3-1 aggregate already in their favor. And of course, they beat Benfica away 3-1.
On the road.
So, coming home, which...
But remember what happened?
This happened,
Chelsea.
yes.
Yeah.
This just happened yesterday, less than 24 hours. And if Real Madrid did not pick up their pace, they would have lost yesterday's game.
On the long run.
Yeah, they would have. They definitely would have. So I don't think this is also a game that Liverpool needs to sleep on. Yes, they're in a better standing, but the best thing is score more goals.
The thing is, with aggregate goals, for instance, yesterday, picture when Chelsea were leading by 2-0. On away goals rules, that's 4 goals. That's 4 goals already.
Yeah.
You get. Then, so it was 3-0, right? Or it became 2-1 or 3-1. At some point, it
was 3-0, then 3-1.
Yeah, okay. So when it was 3-0, it would have been Chelsea 6. You get. So they will now be counting 6 for Madrid in London. You get. Then the away goal, the own goal that Chelsea scored gives them 7. That's 1 point. So as at that time when it was 3, it was 7. It's 7.
It's 7
to 6. But when Madrid now scored, he now makes it 7 all. But if the game had ended like that, Chelsea would have won with 3-0
yes.
as against Madrid's 3-1.
3-1, yes.
But without away goals now, it has to be clear.
It has to be clear. Everybody is
so
on the same.
Liverpool should realize that the 3-1 on the road can be cancelled out.
It can be cancelled out. All they need now is Benfica needs to score 3 goals and then you don't score any.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Unreplied goals.
So everybody has to be on their feet now. We'll say let the best man win. Yeah?
Yeah.
We never know who's going to, but definitely, I think I would like to see this Manchester City game, Liverpool. We'll see, whichever one.
A lot of people are already calling it like an all-England final kind of thing. Like, the way it's looking, that Man City look good to go through.
Yeah, Liverpool is not doing bad as well.
Through. So they're saying, okay, maybe we're going to have an all-England final.
We'll see.
Bayern, one of the top teams, Bayern is out at this stage now.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not looking at Villareal as a team that
can win. Yeah.
And I would say you're making a big mistake.
Anything is possible.
Then this Madrid team, the way they were able to come back into that game yesterday.
Yeah.
Because at some point, I'm sure a lot of people would have given up.
Yes.
It's not happening for them.
Definitely would have given up. So you shouldn't write anybody off. And besides, it is football. Anything happens in football.
Yes.
There's some games there's some sport that are a little bit predictable, but it's football. Anything is possible.
So
and before you leave
Champions League, I actually saw a tweet from the Guinness Book of Records.
That was actually what I was going to talk about just now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was like that. Guinness Book of Records is announcing that the Champions League is about the most competitive game of all time, or something. And I'm like, okay, that's good. That's big. I think that is really, really big. Whether we like it or not, football is probably the biggest sport ever. Probably
don't let the Americans hear you though.
It's just American.
I'm just saying that they won't agree.
No, I get what you're saying, but football is probably one game that is played in every single country. That in itself, like football is a lot of sports that you hear in some places that they don't play in some places. Football is probably one game that every single country in the world plays.
Yeah.
So I don't see a different one. I would have even thought that maybe it would have been the World Cup and not the Champions League. But you never can say. It could be stats, it could be anything. So we'll definitely see. We're waiting for the official announcement.
Yeah, so they're saying that we're going to confirm the Champions League as the greatest sports competition in history.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Americans, your Super Bowl and all your World Series and everything. Champions League is
Champions League
number one.
Is number one, definitely. So let's move away from sports. As there's a lot of gist, there was a lot of gist last night about a very interesting thing, and for me it's a little sad because you would expect, don't let me say you would expect, I would expect that when good things are happening, it's very interesting when you see like a good thing. You might not even be a part of it, but the fact that it is like from your country, like there's a lot of bad news we hear from Nigeria.
Okay.
And then you hear this good thing happening with tech. Tech is one of the most thriving industries in Nigeria as of today. It is in the world, yes, but in Nigeria, young Nigerians are actually doing a lot for tech. And one of Nigeria's huge tech companies, actually a unicorn.
Yeah, they're worth like $3 billion now.
Titled that is of the name Flutterwave.
So, for a lot of people that might not know, we're not trying to be condescending or act like we know, but people will say, what is a unicorn? Because at times you hear people drop those words or those names and stuff and you don't know what a unicorn is. But in the world of business, especially the tech world and generally world of business now in tech, a company that is worth $1 billion minimum is a unicorn, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're saying. The Lupo has pointed it out. So, but that's why I emphasized 3 billion. Flutterwave is worth 3 billion minimum. So that's like 3 unicorns in one.
Now, the problem is now that is it really truly worth that 3 billion?
It is worth 3 billion.
Or there's a lot of issues. No, what I'm saying is that with
I get you.
A lot of things coming out, it really might not be worth all that actually anymore. As yesterday, an investigative journalist brought out like a whole long paper on how accusing Flutterwave and specifically a co-founder of Flutterwave, the man in the name of Olubenga Agbola, for a few things, sort of like insider trading, fraud, perjury, and even allegations of workplace harassment and all other things. And it's a very interesting thing. I won't say sad because sad means that you were already judging.
Yeah, they're all allegations.
Yeah, all allegations. That's the truth. They're all allegations, except there is a really like there's concrete evidence and all that. So the paper came out yesterday and it was called Flutterwave, the African Unicorn Built on Quicksand. So he's claiming about how this particular person is impersonating someone else that does not exist. How this particular Olubenga Agbola was working in Access Bank, which is another bank, and where he was also a director in was the company Flutterwave. Also, where aviation company was also roped into this. Arik Air, where said Arik Air that they were using Arik Air also to passing money in and out. How he was literally compelling people that wanted to leave, with people that had stock options, that how they were going to sell their stock not at market value, but they were compelled to sell at whatever price. About how he came up with another identity of somebody that the investors had to or the directors had to share their shares with, and it seems to be the other person again. He's the same person, and a lot of allegations flying up and down here and there.
Yes, a lot of allegations, like Dolupo said. So what it was is that The story broke yesterday on social media, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. And David Udenyi is the journalist that nobody did not want to name. And he has a platform called...
Oh, really? It's just... that wasn't intentional.
Yeah, don't worry. He has a platform called the West Africa Week, which is his own platform that he owns. He also writes for Business Day, and I think he does that on a weekly basis and all of that. So David prides himself as an investigative journalist. He likes to do research and bring out stories that some people would not want to touch or work on. So since the story dropped, there have been different reactions, but not these days. I was going to say these days, but generally in life, you find that people would speak based on not just their conviction or the facts of any issue or matter or case. They speak largely based on their agenda, on their affiliations, on their friendships. Like you see a lot of people who have spoken for some of the names mentioned as members of the Flutterwave company. And then you see people who speak, David Udenyi is all that and the bag of chips.
For me, I noticed.
Then there are neutral people who also tilt both ways. Some are saying it's cool what he's done. Some are saying it's messed up what he's done. And of course, the names that I mentioned, one or two of them have been responding and talking. One of the names that is also trending out there on social media is Inyi Aboyejo, and he's said a lot, especially this morning. He's been tweeting, and one of his responses is that because he's a Christian, that he started talking more about Christ and is more into his religion, and that's why David Udenyi is trying to pull him down, because he knows that it's like persecution of sorts. Now, the story is that if you read the story by David Udenyi, if you're interested, you could go search for West Africa Week, and I think it's westafricaweekly.substack.com. Substack is substack.com. Search for West Africa Weekly, you get them there. The summary is that the Inyi who is responding is the founder of Flutterwave, and he had partners, but the story does not implicate in any way.
In any way, yeah.
The stories of alleged, because we all need to be careful when we talk about these things, and before you're also implicated for just being an analyst. Alleged sexual harassment and other things that were alleged in that story. In his name did not come up there. His name did not come up. It's the GB guy, Agbola, right?
Agbola, yeah.
And his brother-in-law, I think the guy's name is Lake or so, I can't remember. But this is in the story because I actually took my time. Very long story. And he also had in there, screen grabs of chats with people.
And then even up to
letters,
a lot
emails,
of companies have been roped into it. There is a law firm that has been roped in. On the part of Access Bank, he mentioned Access Bank and all. The Inyi guy is saying that even while he was at Andela, which is another unicorn, another massive tech company, that's when he was setting up Flutterwave. So the story of the GB guy doing that is not a big deal. A lot of people do that, and that they have a special working relationship with Access Bank. So it wasn't something that Access Bank did not know, that they had worked out an exit strategy for the two guys who were former Access Bank staff who came to Flutterwave. So that kind of answers that, but it doesn't necessarily, because if you read the story, the screen grabs of chats from GB, that's the Flutterwave CEO, the current CEO, it's almost as if it's like masquerading or parading yourself as a staff of Access Bank for certain meetings that would favor Flutterwave at that stage. You get. Now, a few minutes ago, David Udenyi also tweeted
some letters that it calls proof that Flutterwave was also fined in the U.S. in the state of Texas. That it said that let me quote the tweet. More reckless law breaking by Flutterwave, this time in the state of Texas, resulting in $47,000 penalty 5 months ago for running unlicensed money transmission services. More information requests with other state and federal regulators are still pending from the US, because again they have the Freedom of Information Bill in America, and that's what he's actually using to source some of these documents that he's using to back his stories up. So in this case, allegations have been made. He also alleged that, in fact, the Securities and Exchange Commission in America invited directors of Access Bank
that they had to,
why they were that they're investigating Flutterwave. That's what he's alleging. But the EU guy said that story never happened. That the only person that had to travel was himself, and for this reason, that's why he wants to sue David Udain. You know, that some of the things that he said are not true, that they didn't happen. Now, David Udain, a few months ago, wrote a story about a big Nigerian brand, and it links them to terror. And of course, there were words that were bandied back and forth. But I don't think anything has come out of it. And nobody has gone for him or to sue him or take him to court.
That's it for me. Like, so for this, those allegations are a lot. They're heavy. And except you are, there's something happening somewhere, and except that you are culpable in all these things, I feel that they need to sue him, not just for themselves, not just to clear their name. Take for the company itself. The company's shares are going to crash like no man's business.
They're not quoted.
Oh, they're not quoted yet.
They're not. They're not quoted on the stock exchange. So, what might be bad is the image of the company that might going forward. Might be damaged. But, it might be. But I see that. Look, when you build a $3 billion company,
and someone comes up with this,
even if it's not true, one of the quick things that they can do is to ask the names that have been mentioned to step aside. They do not necessarily have to resign or pull out of the entire operations.
But what if they're not? What if they're actually innocent of all these charges?
Then they'll go back to work fully. Their salaries won't be stopped, but they're just going to remove them, so that the brand can focus on its core competence, its main business, is this tech solutions that they have for businesses across Africa and by extension the globe. So if I'm involved with PR for this company, I would say the first thing is for these two people just to put out a letter and say they are, and they should step aside. You get, while investigations are being carried on, while legal issues are being considered and all of that. You get. Now, did these things really happen? Were there cases of sexual harassment and all of that? A lady that is linked to the CEO, he said the lady had told him that she wasn't ready to talk and that she would sleep over it. Then the next day, he actually showed a screen grab of her saying nothing happened. She doesn't want to say anything. Here you get. And of course, the allegations are that maybe she had told them and they said she shouldn't say anything. Another lady who worked with Flutterwave, she's left, had called them out. Remember, about a week or so ago, I think she's Kenyan, and she's actually known as one of the top tech ladies, tech sis in Africa. She had called them out because of what she called an harassment. There were some transactions that her name was being linked to years after she had left.
And she's wondering.
And it led to her mom being arrested, I think in Kenya or something, and all of that. So she's called them out. I think her name is Clara. If you search for Clara Flutterwave story, you will see the stories. Then another lady now who said she was on her way to work in a bank, but she was convinced to join Flutterwave, and she was offered stock options. Now, the stock options were supposed to be given to her, and that until the time she left,
she wasn't given
stock options. And
yeah.
that's why she's actually suing them. Now, the interesting part of our own story is that she contracted a law firm, B&I or something. She contracted a law firm, and the law firm actually got paid. She showed proof that she had paid them about 500,000 naira plus. Then, a few moments after, the law firm says that they are contracted to the people that she's suing.
With
and
them.
Speaking to one or two lawyers, they tell you it's very unethical for you to take a case that once you've signed on a client, you cannot take the case.
You can say you're not doing it again, but you can't take the case of the other
people
party.
that she's trying to sue. You get, but I think she's still gone ahead to look for other lawyers, and she's pushing for a case, and it looks like she does have a very strong case. You know, so a lot of issues here and there. My own hope is that it is not going to have a ripple effect. Now, I will not condone any bad behavior. I will not support it. Who am I to say condone? I will not support it. And so I am not going to make a case for Flutterwave or GB or Inyi or anybody. But I'm just going to say that everything we do should be based on facts and figures and within the confines of the law.
My own issue is that I hope that for the sake of not just Flutterwave now, the sake of the whole tech environment, Nigerian tech environment in itself, because the more this kind of bad things happen, it's the second tech firm that there's a lot of talk about in the past few months. Even people that are investing in these things, that are giving you these monies, I personally feel that you're making it more difficult for newer firms to get funding and all these things. I think that's why when you said that these things have ripple effects.
Yes, it does.
So I think we should be calming down on the kind of things that we do just to get to the top.
Honestly.
Because we have something to say about politicians, we have something to say about the president, this and that, the governor is this, the governor is that. But how you are conducting your own business, are you doing it the proper way?
Yeah, is it proper? And I like what you said. Is it proper?
That's it.
You know, this is my mistake. And we have a message from Bukola Medubi. She says, "Nice one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much."
On Facebook, on YouTube.
Alrighty. So let's move on from that. Still talking about people's monies and all. This afternoon, something started trending on Twitter, and it is OAU Gate. I am wondering.
Hashtag OAU Gate.
Hashtag OAU Gate. What's happening? So I decided to go through the thread, and it's like, okay, looks like somebody somewhere stole.
So OAU is the Obafemi
money.
Awolowo University, not the Organization of African Unity. In this
Those
context,
things are not even OAU. It's not even OAU anymore.
No, they're still. That's why OAU Gate is trending.
No, what I mean is that OAU, as in Organization of Africa, is now AU. It's not even OAU anymore.
So you think that a global audience will just get OAU and they understand what OAU is?
No, I get it, but I get what you're saying. But when you say it's no longer, I'm like, AU is not. Anyway, moving on. Let's not drag it on this. So basically, what students are alleging that their former SUG, that's Student Union Government President, seem to have left with some of students' monies. Basically, in the school environment, for people that do not know, the people as students, I think we pay dues and a few other things. SUG gets monies from different sources and all that. But also, I think that you are also supposed, not just, but also, you are actually supposed to be accountable for these things, as the excos and all that. It was said that there was a lot of issues. Then he was impeached. Then a few weeks after that, Uncle came with a Benz. And that, according to their UBA statement of account, there is 700,000 that is missing. There was something about a
720,000.
There was also something about a 1.3 million somewhere, and I'm like, okay. My issue with this is two things. You are a student like every other person, yeah? It's everybody's money.
Yeah.
Which, if we equate that to politicians and people that steal money, it's the same thing at the end of the day, yeah? But the sadder part for me is we say youth are the leaders of tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
If these allegations are really true,
Yeah.
are these the same leaders that are we not
The same.
in the same pot?
They're the same leaders. Youth are the leaders of tomorrow. I like to say, if tomorrow comes, because tomorrow might never come. I'm not saying the world is going to end. I'm just saying, if tomorrow comes, because here you are. It's the same up NEPA that you were saying when you were a baby. They are still saying
we're still here
in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. So, what exactly are we on about? But in situating it, bringing it back to context, the leader of the youth body in a Nigerian university is alleged to have stolen millions of naira. Mm-hmm. But the figure that is trending is 720,000 naira.
20,000 naira.
No kobo should be trending with the name of a young person who was entrusted with funds.
Mm-hmm.
The same people who come out to criticize the politicians, we say we do not want what they are doing. But at the level that you're at, you're already stealing. You're already being alleged to have stolen. And
like,
of course,
what are you doing? Like, what else are you doing?
It's a new world. I know a lot of people are into different businesses that can earn them money, but the allegations are so strong, and people are coming out with receipts to show that it looks like something is wrong. So you need to ask yourself again, over and over again, do we really hate corruption? Do we really hate corrupt politicians?
Or we're just not benefiting from it?
We're angry because we don't gain from it.
I agree with you.
Because
I agree.
Be honest with yourself. If your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your cousin, your husband, your wife is involved in a corrupt practice, maybe at that university level, or as a politician at the federal or state or local level, would you really stop this person from doing what they're doing? Mm-hmm. Or would you just keep quiet, look the other way, then come out to criticize the president and the vice president?
You know,
and
like,
all
it's
governors?
almost like we never really look at ourselves when we say these things or do anything. And the truth is, it is this same set of people that are going to go on to be local government chairmen, that are going to be. And how old are you as a university student?
Yeah, so
that you're already dealing in this kind of horrible things.
So that's why you need to be consistent with your criticisms and leave
what you say. Yes.
Don't say it because
just because.
Oh, they're stealing oil. Okay, they are stealing oil. It's not right. But you're stealing in your church.
You know we're talking about it yesterday about how Nigerians
they give you money to keep for your church group, but you are dipping into it. Yeah, but you hate corruption. But the house that your father willed to you, that you did not even know how they built it, you're increasing rent every year. To me, that's corruption. You can come and tell me whatever you want to say. You have access to a bus that you're using for the transport business, and at any flimsy excuse, you jack up the prices. You are corrupt. This is the real corruption. Not saying that those people too are not corrupt, but everything adds up.
Everything adds
up. You were saying something about yesterday that you wanted to talk about.
You know what we're talking about yesterday? This was not even on the show. That the things that Nigerians do is, I get it, the economy is bad, everything is difficult, diesel is expensive, power is epileptic, and then the things that we do to ourselves as individuals, we literally make life more difficult. Take, for example, a company, a worker, an employee has to pay for the uniform that he is using to work for you.
For you. This
If
story,
that's not wickedness, I don't get it.
This story is from one of our own who engaged a lady that works in a filling station in Lagos, Surulere.
You know why?
And
A part of me, that story does not sit well so much with
it's
me
wrong.
that I have a feeling that is either somebody somewhere is sitting on the money, because I don't even think those things should be paid for in the first place. Somebody somewhere is getting money and doing it illegally, or the lady is not being completely honest.
Yeah. So, because whatever it is, you must be able.
Somebody is corrupt.
To dig in and find out there's corruption going on there too. And we all know how difficult things are. But how are you?
Don't make it worse for the next person. Don't.
Yeah. How are you doing that and expecting that maybe just by wishing it away, the economy will be better, things will improve. While me and you are part of the problem. We are the problem. We are doing things. I'm not personally sure, but you guys know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing. Okay, moving on from that, there's another update from something that we've been talking about since Monday, and is the lady, the Osinachi Nwachukwu, the gospel artist that died, and it was alleged that she died from injuries from her husband. Yeah, there's been a lot of revelation since her death was announced over the weekend. And the latest revelation that it seemed to have come out now is that her husband, who it is said to have been abusing and beating her and all those things, actually has another family
somewhere else.
And I'm like, okay, so I get it why he has to collect all that money from her. Because
it gets sadder by the minute. I don't know if I'm allowed to use sadder. It gets more sad. It gets more painful. It's hurtful.
Yeah, it is hurtful.
Thinking about how
you can treat your fellow human being like that.
God gave talent to, and she used that talent to glorify God's work, and she also made some money in the process to take care of her family. Then the husband that she married, who doubles as a manager, is alleged to have killed her from physical abuse.
My question with him is that
and this thing has led to a lot of women talking.
A lot of
I've seen
talking.
stories.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. Yes, we know things are bad, but I didn't know it was this bad.
This bad, yeah. And you wonder it's not about man or woman now. It's about how you can treat fellow human being, especially someone you claim that you love, that is your spouse. How you can treat a fellow human being, because you will see how people that you don't know, you actually show kindness to, people that you never met before in your life. So how do you treat someone that is your spouse this bad? And
the sad part is she is also your golden gates that lays the golden end.
Do you get it? So
she's your meal ticket.
That's one of the questions
your ATM machine.
It is for me.
Whatever you want to say.
So okay, now that she's gone, how do you continue to live that lifestyle?
He will start singing. if he survives this.
Okay. Now you are a wicked person.
He will sing.
Now you're a wicked person.
Shebi is from singing that they've been feeding. He will sing.
Maybe he too should start singing. He has 4 children to take care of.
It's sad how when you get involved in crime or you perpetrate this crime, you don't think about the children. Like if a wife decides to go ballistic on her husband and kill him, then she gets caught and she goes to prison. Who's going to take care of your children? We talked about this a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
But in this man's case, I hope all these allegations are just conjecture.
Just conjectures. It shouldn't be.
It didn't happen.
I hope it's not.
I don't want to see that some of the things that the son said happened.
I hope it's not true.
Like he said that the woman got gifted 2 cars, and the father never allowed her to use any of those cars except when he wanted to. and there was a particular day that they left church, and they waved to their mother. They waved to their mother.
And see,
and they drove past her.
And this is issues
in her own car.
We need to talk about. Yes, the woman might not have known how she was going to deal with it. It might be a lot of issues, maybe something that she didn't know how to deal with. Take that church thing, for example. Are we saying that nobody in that church noticed there was something wrong?
Exactly, and nobody did anything.
And nobody did anything.
The guy is supposed to be a pastor too, right?
Really? When we say that as Christians, we were told to be our brother's keeper. How are you your brother's keeper if you see people going through things and you just turn a blind eye?
Exactly. And now that she's dead,
everybody has something to say.
But
you could have said something.
Another avoidable.
You could have said something.
And kept her alive.
And
saved her from that terrible situation she's in.
I think that it is something we need to be more vigilant. Yes, it's not happening to you. But there are telltale signs you see with other people. You're at work, someone is always they're always falling down the stairs. They're always sleeping in the kitchen. And you're wondering
she's wearing what we call goggle to cover goggle to cover her eyes.
You're always falling in the kitchen. And you're wondering, is it not the same as you're always living every day? You're always falling down the stairs or something is always wrong. And people that fall down the stairs safe. I don't know how is it that his face they used to hit the floor.
Yeah. So in real terms, again, we said it yesterday and we're going to say it again. One of the ways to avoid this is to make sure you don't judge anybody. A lot of people would rather die in a bad situation than allow people judge them. I don't know. It's just a state of mind that, look, they will stay back in this terrible relationship, terrible workplace, terrible anything, because you don't want people to say, we told you so, or why are you going? And again, another problem is, apart from being judgmental, we live by other people's standards.
Yes, I agree.
You want to become a divorcee. No.
Your children will now become.
How do you want the people to look at you?
Your children
who will marry you again?
Homes.
Then your parents. This comes from family. They will tell you to stay there. Stay.
God does not like divorce, so God likes killing.
Please,
Abi,
let us support people, even if it turns out that they're making
people like that.
The first thing is to prioritize on life.
Life, yes, life is the basic. Every other thing comes after. Everything. So when there's life, there is hope. So the first thing is there has to be life for hope to be.
So we're saying it is a no judgment zone for us here.
Yeah.
And if you feel that you need to talk to someone, you can send messages to us. We have professionals that we can refer you to.
Definitely.
You can shoot us a mail at boomradiong@gmail.com. boomradiong@gmail.com. We have professionals that you can actually talk to. You want to talk to someone.
It's really just about
unburden, because
alive.
We staying
alive. It's just about staying alive. That's the first thing. Everything else is secondary. And on that note, that is all we will take today on the bar. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the comments. We will definitely be back again tomorrow, but you could go back and watch this video on YouTube. It is Boom Radio NG on YouTube. Like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a comment. Share. Leave a nice comment. Share. And